Greetings, fellow detectives, and welcome to Boiler Room Detective. The case for 11 psi in a brewery. Looking over the drawings for the new brewery, I saw the steam requirements for the brew kettle, hot liquor tank, and mash vessel, and my muscles tightened. It happens every time. The people who sell the brewing equipment stipulate a steam pressure as close to 15 psi as possible. In this case, they wanted 14.7 psi to the equipment. "You can't run the boiler that high," I yelled. My dog Bailey looked at me like I was crazy. I've had this discussion with the brewing industry for several years, and it's the reason I wrote 2 books for the brewing industry: Lessons Learned Brewing with Steam and Lessons Learned Maintaining Steam Systems for Breweries and Distilleries. The limit control with the red button is defective. I have to push the reset button all the time, the frustrated brewer said. "What is the steam pressure setting on the boiler?" I asked. 15. "Why?" he asked. "There's your problem. Although the boiler is rated for 15 psi, it should not operate that high. My vehicle has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. Just because the car can run that speed doesn't mean it should. Similarly, the steam pressure control in the boiler should be set no higher than 11 to 12 psi. When operating a boiler at pressures higher than that, you risk either the pop safety valve opening and losing all your steam, or tripping the high pressure limit controls, as what happened to this customer. If either of these occurs, the brewing process stops abruptly. Some brewers believe you have to operate the boiler at 15 psi to get a rolling boil. However, as I explained to the caller, the BTU difference is insignificant between 11 and 15 psi, only 2 BTUs different. For context, 1 BTU is the equivalent of the heat produced by burning a wooden matchstick. The highest setting for the manual reset limit control is 15 psi. I like setting the operating controls slightly lower to avoid tripping the pressure control. Another advantage of lower steam pressure is the steam volume. The volume of steam at 11 psi is 16 cubic feet. The volume at 15 psi is 14 cubic feet. You would need to generate 14% more steam to fill the pipes and vessels at 15 than at 11 psi. This increases your operating costs. The other concern when operating the boiler at close to 15 psi is the pop safety valve. On low-pressure steam boilers, the pop safety valve is factory set for 15 psi. If the boiler pressure reaches the set point of the valve, it will open and all the steam will be vented from the boiler. This halts the brewing process and wastes money, as the steam you paid to heat and treat is now going down the drain. Many of the safety valve manufacturers require steam pressures below the set point of their valve. For example, the installation instructions for Combraco Model 12-14 relief valve states the minimum required pressure margin for this type of valve is 4 psi. Under no circumstances should this margin be less than 4 psi. That means the boiler pressure setting should be no higher than 11 psi. Now, when we add pressure to the mix, the boiling temperature of the water is all over the place. Inside a brewery boiler that's set for 15 psi, the boiling temperature is 250 degrees Fahrenheit. If you operate the boiler at 11 psi, the boiling temperature drops to 243 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 3% lower. Steam volume takes a little bit more effort to wrap your head around. The pipes must be filled with steam for a steam system to function correctly. I know you're saying, duh, but hang with me here. Steam at 15 psi has a volume of almost 14 cubic feet. If you can operate the boiler at 11 psi, the steam volume jumps to 16 cubic feet. You would have to generate 14% less steam at 11 psi to fill the pipes than at 15 psi. The higher the steam pressure, the greater the amount of flash steam is lost. Flash steam occurs when the condensate temperature is higher than the boiling temperature of the water. The flash steam will be vented through the boiler feed tank vent and lost. If you operate the boiler at 11 psi, you will have 40% less flash steam lost than at 15 psi. Lastly, the higher the pressure, the slower the steam travels. Steam at 11 psi is 16% faster than steam at 15 psi. Try operating your boiler at 11 psi in your brewery or distillery. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. If you would like to contact me, my contact information is here. In addition, I have two websites. brewingwithsteam.com has my monthly blog posts on steam systems for breweries, and Fire Ice Heat is my company website. I have written 11 books on boilers, and they are available on Amazon. In addition, you can find some of my writings in these fine publications. Thanks for stopping by Boiler Room Detective, and I hope to see you on the next case.